at the hospital, University of Cincinnati Medical Center. We'll have a report from there coming up in the coming moments here. Damar's a second-year safety out of Pittsburgh. He started 14 games this season. And we welcome in Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. And, man, we've had a lot of laughs talking on Monday nights after these games, and this was a big one. We were looking forward to it, all of us, because of the significance of this game. And here we are at this moment, and a young man fights for his life. And gratefully, it's nothing that we have a great deal of context with. But, Joe, I'll begin with you. And I salute the work that you all did there, just allowing the moments to happen and try to provide the context as they did. How do you describe what you've been processing since this happened?
It's really hard. You know, it's hard just to describe it. I mean, you know, what we all feel. You know, you think about the Hamlin family and what they're all going through. That's the focus. But you know, this went from a sports story to a news story, from a sporting event to a matter of life and death like that.
Yeah.
And there was a moment when the medical personnel was all out there, and we're standing up here, and unfortunately, like Lisa said, and you guys have been talking about, we've been through a lot of situations in games where we've stood up here and you're watching medical personnel make sure somebody's okay down on the field, and you think they're going through a blow to the head or something along those lines. And it switched. It switched quickly, and it went from what is the typical everybody gather around, let's make sure this player is okay, to those who were on the field in his immediate vicinity administering CPR and really pounding on his chest. And a lot of that was not on television. I have no idea what's on social media. I have not checked it, but we were sitting here, and I'm looking at Troy, and he's looking at me, and it was like, my God, what did this is not what you expected to see, and now is he okay? And it went on and on and on, and then that's when the players were gathered around so tight that it was hard to even see what was going on. So this was took your breath away. I'm sick to my stomach if you're asking me how I feel, which nobody cares, but that's what it feels like being here in this stadium tonight, witnessing what we saw right around midfield.
No, I disagree, Joe. I think the perspective of someone who's made his life doing this, calling these games, and has those perspectives of the injuries that thankfully mostly turn out far better. There was an urgency, Troy, that I felt like I noticed immediately, and what I saw on camera that concerned me. It seemed like this was dire, and then quickly it became evident that it was. As a man that made his living doing this and has seen a lot, when you see a young man suddenly fighting for his life, part of this brotherhood that Ryan Clark and I were just speaking of, how do you best describe what that's like to have to watch?
Well, I can only speak of what it was like to watch tonight, because no one's experienced anything like this. Ryan Clark hasn't, as he expressed, and all the other players. Booger McFarland, who was in studio earlier tonight talking about it, and it really is unprecedented, as we know. So you're right. The gravity of the situation became very clear very, very soon. I saw the same things that you were seeing back in studio as far as them administering CPR feverishly. It's as I said, I mean, I think people at home can understand it, that the amount of time that you spend with your teammates, as Ryan Clark said during the season, it is more than you spend with your family, and so it's real. The relationships are real that go on long after you're done playing the game. I can speak to that, but you know, to watch what we did tonight was hard on everybody, and prayers, of course, are with Damar and his family, and we can only hope for the best. And what this looks like, you know, everyone has said it, the football becomes secondary. Quite frankly, I don't know how they get this game in. I just, in the back of my mind, I just don't think they can. But right now, that's a discussion for another time and another place. But
agreed. Because this is a really, really important game in the scheme of football. And I think we all understand at the moment that football is far, far secondary to the concerns of the moment. Troy, Joe, as you all said, it's a bit difficult to put words to this, and you guys did as best as you could for the amount of time that was from the moment that he went down until where we are now, and I appreciate your time and your perspective, guys. Thank you so much.
No, of course, Scott, thank you. You just hope and pray for him, and when you're going through that, you hope you put the right words to it, and we all just we were in shock, and you could see shock all over the faces of those players, and just hoping and praying for the best.
Indeed, well said. Troy, Joe, we'll talk again sometime soon, hopefully Saturday night.